welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us this Friday afternoon for our Finance Fridays webinar series. I am Rimjim Agrawal and I'm the Program Manager for the Building Energy Hub at Illinois Green Alliance. The Finance Fridays webinar series is a project with the Building Energy Hub that aims to demystify the financial tools that building professionals can use to fund decarbonization and energy efficiency projects. Today, we're joined by Kim Brisky from SomerCor, who will be talking about financing products supporting energy efficiency for small businesses in the city of Chicago. Next slide. Before we dive into today's content, I want to take a few minutes to share a little bit about the Building Energy Hub. And if you're not familiar with the Hub, I'm going to put the website in the chat so that you can explore some of our resources and programs. The Building Energy Hub is a project that's hosted by Illinois Green Alliance, and we're supported by a network of partners, including Elevate, the Illinois Climate Bank, the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program, and the City of Chicago. We're also working with generous support from ComEd and Builders Initiative. The Hub, next slide, please. So these are some of the goals that the Hub is trying to fulfill. And the Hub is Illinois' trusted resource center for building professionals that are seeking practical solutions to improve building performance. We've created the Hub and programs like this and other resources that are on the Hub's website to serve commercial and multifamily building owners, developers, operators, property managers, contractors, and municipal and community partners as they plan, finance, and implement building retrofits across Illinois. For today's conversation, one of our priorities is to streamline access to financial resources. So we're joined by Kim Brisky from SomerCor, who's going to be talking about SomerCor's 3 offerings for small businesses. Just a couple of notes before I turn it over to Kim. You can use the Q&A feature to post any questions, and we'll be posting some links in the chat as Kim is talking about them. If you have any comments, please feel free to share them in the chat, but any questions should be directed into the Q&A feature. With that, I'll turn it over to you, Kim.
Thank you so much. Again, my name is Kim Brisky. I am with SomerCor. Next slide, please. And you have my contact information there, and you're welcome to reach out at any time with questions. For folks that aren't familiar with SomerCor, we are an SBA certified nonprofit lender. Our bread and butter are SBA 504 loans, but we also administer the SBIF grant and the Neighborhood Opportunity Fund grant for the City of Chicago, which I'll be talking about today. So overall, our mission is really to help businesses grow, create jobs, and make sure that there is access to impactful investment in every community. Next slide, please. A couple more notes about SomerCor. We actually are able to serve the entire state of Illinois as well as counties in Wisconsin and Indiana. And we actually, as you can see by the numbers there, we've been in business over 30 years, and over $1.6 billion in SBA loans have been invested across the state in that time. And we also sort of have some by the numbers there as well, our SBIF and NOF investments in the city of Chicago. Next slide, please. Here's kind of the presentation guidepost to give us a starting point of what we're going to be covering today. At SomerCor, our focus is really investment in those fixed assets. So the question is, if you're ready to buy, build, renovate, or refinance commercial real estate and heavy equipment, this is the spot for you. We're going to cover the SBA 504 program as well as these City of Chicago grants. And we're going to talk about the program rules, terms, how to apply, and how you can also then use these funds for energy efficient upgrades in your buildings. So we've got the signpost here, and I'm going to go off camera, and then we'll get started with the rest of the content. Next slide, please. So for those of you not familiar, the SBA 504 program, like many government programs, the name doesn't necessarily tell you very much about what it does, but the name comes from the actual portion of the legislation where it was created. The program that we know today essentially has been in place since 1986. And the reason why it was created is that there was concerns in the government that small businesses were not being able to access capital in the same way that larger businesses were able. So in actuality, this is not just about accessing capital, but actually an economic development program. And the focus is to actually create and retain jobs. So we have these public policy requirements that are part of the 504 program, like job creation, like community development, making sure we're securing access to capital for minority, women, and veteran-owned businesses, and also energy efficiency. Next slide, please. So what is the 504 program? So this is, again, about for small businesses being able to buy, renovate, or refinance major fixed assets. Fixed assets are going to include things like land, owner-occupied commercial real estate, heavy equipment, and machinery. Funds cannot be used for things like working capital, inventory, rolling stock, or operational expenses. When you're actually financing an SBA 504 loan, there's 3 partners involved. It's going to be the business owner that will come up with their down payment portion. Typically then 40% of the project will be financed by the SBA through SomerCor, and the remaining 50% will be through a third-party lender like a bank or a credit union. Next slide, please. The only real exceptions at this point to having that 50-40-10 breakdown is, let's say that you are in a single-use building. That would be something that's a car wash or something else that's difficult to transfer into something else. Also, if you're a startup, you would also have an additional 5% added onto your downstroke. Next slide, please. The SBA 504, in addition to being used to purchase and renovate equipment and commercial real estate, you can also use it to refinance. This is one of those opportunities where if you already own your space, but you really are interested in accessing additional capital, you can leverage the built-up equity in your fixed asset and actually take out money for eligible working capital expenses. This is the one time where the 504 can really be used for that opportunity. Eligible operating expenses would include things like salaries, rent, utilities, inventory. Ineligible items would be things like capital expenditures or acquiring a new business. Next slide, please. I think a lot of people would want to know, why is the SBA 504 loan a better option than traditional conventional financing? And there are several reasons why. Number one is the below market interest rate. Even in a higher interest rate environment, the SBA 504 effective interest rate is below market. For SBA 504 loans, for example, that are funding starting this month, those are going to be at the rate of sub 6%. Which I think a lot of folks would want to take advantage of that. Additionally, less money down. As I mentioned earlier, you can get up to 90% financing for your established business. So you only have to put 10% into down payment, as opposed to what you might see for conventional financing as high as 25%. If you're able to put less money down, you're able to free up that existing capital that would normally be set to paying off loans or other things, and instead reinvest it back into growing your business. Payment predictability. The great thing about the SBA 504 loan is that you actually have fixed financing for up to 25-year terms with the program. So then you don't have to worry about a balloon program, or a balloon payment or other things that would really throw you off. That helps you have that fixed rate financing to plan ahead. Ownership. Instead of paying rent, you're going to start building equity. And every payment really is able to help build up your wealth and not paying for somebody else's. Additionally, property control. You're able to customize the property, expand, create lasting asset. So, and also prepare if you're going to grow again, make sure that however you built it out is optimized for your business. And of course, there's also tax advantages, mortgage interest deductions, and other benefits. Next slide, please. Specifically, though, as it relates to the 504 program for what we're talking about today, is there's the green loan program. It's a portion of the SBA 504 program, and it really is there to support borrowers who are interested in incorporating energy efficiency elements or renewable energy technologies into their commercial real estate projects. In addition to the benefits that we already just discussed, 504 green loan projects get a couple additional benefits. First, your actual maximum cap in terms of how much the SBA can contribute to your project financing is $500,000 more than non-green loan projects. So specifically, you're able to, for your green loan project, the cap of SBA financing is $5.5 million comparative to $5 million for other projects. That also means higher option for aggregated lending. As opposed to having an aggregated lending limit of 15, you have 16.5 million of maximum SBA contributions towards your projects via the SBA 504 green loan. Next slide, please. This is how you actually can become eligible for this program. You can fit into this eligibility by 3 different metrics. First, your project could be reducing energy consumption at your business by at least 10%, and that's going to be compared to historical consumption. Number 2 option is you generate at least 15% renewable energy, solar, wind, geothermal, hydropower, and biomass through property upgrades. A third option is just to increase the use of sustainable design, design that reduces the use of greenhouse gas emitting fossil fuels. And so you're able to actually maximize your energy efficiency that way. It's important to note that the energy audit and estimates from a vendor providing the renewable energy equipment are required at the time the loan is submitted to the SBA. Next slide, please. I'm happy to show a couple of examples of SomerCor projects who took advantage of energy efficiency financing. First up, we have a car dealership in Libertyville. This was a ground up construction of a dealership, and they fulfilled the policy goal of reducing existing energy consumption by at least 10%, meaning that they actually had a previous location, and at this new location that they built from the ground up, they reduced their energy consumption by at least 10%. And it was built originally in the 1980s. And instead, he created it with this whole new facility. And the new location did this by using LED motion sensor lights and installed an HVAC system that shut off when the garage door opens. As I'm sure you can imagine, at a business like a car dealership, where there can be a lot of things that are motion censored up and down, and a lot of open and closed with the outside. So this was able to really increase his energy efficiency here. And he used the Green Loan Program so you can maximize the available debenture or SBA investment in this project up to the maximum 5.5 million. And the goal is he will be using the SBA Green Loan for other projects and other dealerships. Next slide, please. We have another client example here, and that's Alpha Technico. It's a ground up construction of a manufacturer that with durable medical equipment. So this client in Lake Zurich, they actually used the 504 loan to cover the purchase of the land and ground up construction of a 78,000 square foot building. And in there, they've got their lab, manufacturing, warehousing, all of that. And the total project side was over 13 million. And while they're as a manufacturer, they fulfilled the manufacturing related public policy goal, they were really interested in meeting energy efficiency standards. And they actually used the 504 to use construction materials that supported those environmentally friendly goals, that, dealing with concrete and HVAC and other things as well, to be able to do the interior. And it also has more than an acre of rooftop solar panels as well. Now that building is actually operated fully by solar power. Because of the green focus of this building using the 504 loan, it was actually awarded a top prize by the Illinois Real Estate Journal for industrial manufacturing. I'm going to send it to the next slide so you can see some of the pictures of the location. So you can see on top that they had the solar panels as well as the build out of the whole new manufacturing space as well. Next slide. So if this sounds like something that you'd be interested in applying for, here are some of the basics that you need to have ready. You need to be able to communicate either with us at SomerCor directly, or you also can reach out to your business lender and have that conversation first. Typically, as with anywhere that you're trying to access capital, you're going to need to provide things like your tax return, interim financial statements, aging, 2-year income, all of those things as well. Additionally, for any owner, so that's more than 20% owner, you need to be able to have your personal finance statement, data, tax returns. But the biggie is going to be the project information, especially if you're interested in accessing a green loan project, because you need to be able to highlight what are your actual project costs, what are you going to be using these funds for, the quotes and all of those other things, as well as environmental reports and appraisal. Next slide, please. So shifting away from the SBA 504 loan, I want to talk a little bit about the 2 grants that the City of Chicago offers that we offer on behalf of the City of Chicago and administer for them: the Small Business Improvement Fund, as well as the Neighborhood Opportunity Fund. Again, these are grants, and these are limited to the City of Chicago. Again, we actually are the administrator for both of these programs. The SBIF program has already been in practice for more than 25 years. Both of these programs are really about supporting permanent building improvement projects for commercial corridors in the city of Chicago. Part of the requirement of the program is they do need to show some financial requirements, some ability to show proof of financing to contribute to the project, because these are reimbursement grants. That means that you will be doing the work and then be reimbursed on the back end once it is complete. Generally, eligible work items for SBIF and NOF include things like roofing and facades, storefront, build-outs, and the guts electrical mechanical system upgrades. For these grant programs, the maximum grant ranges from $75,000 to $250,000, and that depends on which program you're using, the property type, whether it's industrial or commercial, and whether it's a single occupant building or multi-occupant. Next slide, please. Digging in a little bit further, really both of these grant programs can support financing for solar panels, LED lighting, windows and doors, energy efficiency systems like HVAC, electrical, plumbing, and other energy efficient building materials. I would, caveat being this is not a comprehensive list, and that if you're interested in finding out if one of the improvements you're considering is eligible, feel free to reach out to us directly. The SBIF program rules also specifically include items that can be, the grant funds can be used towards, including environmental remediation, either inside, under, directly adjacent to the building that's undergoing this renovation. Also, the cost of an energy audit that recommends measures to improve the energy efficiency of the building. And you can include that to the extent that the building renovations are undertaken are going to be able to promote the energy efficiency and resource conservation. So they have a couple of other examples here, like low flow plumbing, energy efficient HVAC, building materials, things like that. The only caveat there is that the cost of the energy audit cannot exceed 10% of the project budget. Next slide, please. Here we have a client sample of a SBIF client, Tester Produce, who they are located in the stockyards, back of the yards neighborhood. And what they were able to do with their SBIF program actually is they used it to finance environmental remediation, as well as solar panels. You can see with the city skyline in the background, they did all the solar panels on the roof. They already had windmills from a previous project there. Additionally, they had a solar power water heater that they also installed. Next slide. So that was sort of the high level look of things that you can use SomerCor's financing products for to support energy efficiency. We have here the list of all of our team members that can support you. The first four with the SBA 504 program, and then the last two are for our grant program. So any questions that you have about these programs or how it could possibly be used for your project, feel free to reach out to them or me. And I was going to say, Matt, if you want to skip back to the slide with my contact information on it, I am happy to go back on camera and answer any questions.
Thank you, Kim. That was great. I think seeing those examples specifically of those projects is really helpful too, just to see the kind of work that can be done and the kinds of businesses that are eligible. I don't see any open questions at the moment, so I am happy to kick us off with the first question. Can you tell me a little bit more about, are there certain businesses that are eligible to apply, and could you go through all three of the programs that you talk about?
Sure, happy to do so. So for the SBA 504 program, in general, as long as it's legally federally, we will be able to do a 504 project for it. So that ranges from things like if you're talking about retail to manufacturing, to daycares, any of those things that we can be eligible and do that. SBIF and NOF are a little bit different. They do have some restrictions. SBIF and it does allow for manufacturing and industrial projects. NOF is only going to maybe have the light manufacturing, and that's if it has more of a commercial aspect to it. But I would say we can provide comprehensive information to you if that's something you're interested in. In terms of the other sort of limitations you might have is a lot of people assume, oh, small business, that must be just mom and pop shops. Actually, for the SBA 504 program, as long as your net worth of the business is under 20 million, then you can actually apply, which was pretty high. So I think that there's a lot of opportunities there for folks to participate.
Awesome, thank you. A question in the chat. Can you combine SBA 504 with the grants as a bridge loan? get the financing through SBA 504 to start and then apply for the grant? Do the programs or SomerCor connect with each other?
Well, so I usually see just about everybody that comes in, and we have lots of applicants who have done 504 and grants at the same time. And a lot of times we'll have, actually, there's a project in particular I can think of that they were buying a building and they wanted to do renovations, and the timing worked that their TIF opened up at the same time. So they're using both SBIF and the 504. The 504 financing is acting as the bridge loan to be able to do the work, and they're going to be eventually reimbursed by the city for that work. So yes, that can happen. You just got to get the timing right. And everyone on our team at SomerCor, we have obviously a grants team, and then we have the 504 team. We all talk to each other. So we recognize, hey, I see that they're already doing this, and they make sure that they coordinate together.
Great, thank you. Another question from Cassidy Kramer. Mixed use building use any of those programs? Could a multifamily rental owner use any of these programs to build out a vacant commercial space on the first floor of an otherwise residential rental building?
Good question. So we recognize that a lot of things in the city of Chicago, especially, are mixed use, right? So mixed use can be eligible for these things in these type of circumstances. Specifically, I'll focus on the SBA 504 first. So for the 504, you have to have it's owner occupied commercial real estate is what we finance. But let's say you have a mixed use building where you've got the vacant space on the ground floor and then you've got apartments above. As long as your business is operating out of at least 51% of the real estate, like you actually can draw it out and say, I'm operating my business on a 51%. Yes, you can use the 504 to be able to purchase the space and renovate the space that's doing commercial activities. You can't use the 504 though to do any renovations in the residential space. You can use it though for envelope projects. By that, I mean like the roof, it covers the whole thing, right? So you need to be able to do that even if the business is on the first floor and the apartments are on the second floor. That's pretty similar for how SBIF and NOF operate, which is that you're able to use the grant programs in the commercial space, recognizing we have mixed use things, but any of the residential space cannot be financed through any of these programs. Oops, you're on mute.
Thank you. Thanks, Kim. Hopefully that answers your question, Cassidy. One more question from me, Kim. Are startups eligible for this?
Sure, I'm happy to talk about that. So startups are eligible actually for all of these programs. There are just a few additional requirements. For the SBA 504, you will have a 5% added on to your down payment. So instead of a 10%, which is standard, you'll have the 15%. Additionally, for the SBA 504, we like to operate on behalf of the small business and help them with the best narrative possible to show why this business can really take advantage of the financing for their energy efficient products or whatever else they're trying to achieve. So if you are a startup, really making sure you have the solid business plan and projections are really critical. Similarly with SBIF and NOF, you can be a startup, but you are going to have to be able to provide the projections to show at least 3 years of activity so that we can take a look at that and see, making sure that what you're trying to do is an eligible business type and that it also is going to have a positive impact on the community.
Perfect. Yeah, that's really helpful. Thanks, Kim. If there are no other questions from the audience, we're gonna go. Sorry, Matt, you're gonna have to scroll all the way to the end. Thank you for attending today's program. If this was your first time engaging with the Hub, we hope you come back for more. Okay, there's a follow-up question. Can the commercial building owner rent the space out in a mixed-use building?
Oh, apologies. So if you're asking about the 504, for example, you actually have to be operating that. So you have to be operating your business out of it. You can't be operating simply as the tenant or the landowner and fixing it up and then renting it out. However, if you are doing SBIF or NOF, you actually can apply as a landlord and being able to fix it up and then rent it out. The key is going to be that before you're able to be reimbursed for the work, you'll have to show proof that you have then now a rental agreement with a business, that they're there operating and they're eligible. That'll be the key for you to be able to get reimbursed at the back end. But mixed use as a landlord, yes, you can. Soft costs. Some soft costs, but generally the majority of what we use these programs are for the fixed asset support. So that's going to be the purchase, renovation, refinance of commercial real estate. Sometimes architectural fees can be included depending on the program. And if you have specific questions, feel free to reach out to me offline, and I'm happy to answer those.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, thank you for joining us this afternoon. I hope this was all helpful. And thank you, Kim, so much for being a great, for sharing all about that program and for answering all of those questions. I think it's really helpful to just get all of the details. We'll be posting this recording on YouTube. So if you missed anything or would like to revisit anything, please feel free to do that. And I will be following up with slides for this program, where you're also going to be redirected to a survey when you exit this webinar. So we'd really appreciate if you could share any feedback that you had with us. And please visit the Hub's website and explore all of our resources. Thank you all and have a great weekend.
Thank you.